Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aiden,
I'm Jack.
And I'm Casey.
and we are here to recap the new coordinators that the Cannons have hired. Kind of surprise news, ironically dropping a day after April Fool's Day when we announced that Jack and I would be hired. But
Not
surprisingly,
too late for Brian to change his mind.
yeah, that's true. That's true. There is like I don't know what the terms of the contract are, but probably I gotta assume there's a buyout clause or Uh, I wouldn't say no to the job if it was offered. That's all I'll say. No, we got John O'Derna as the defensive coordinator, who is currently also the defensive coordinator at Syracuse, and Alec Jernstadt, who is the head coach. I believe the article said he's been the only head coach at Grove City College. Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they have a
So
pretty new program.
yeah, clearly. So I know these names were guys that would have been floated about in the PLL circle for a long time. Kind of no surprise to hear. I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, I guess not certainly Oderna having be working at one of the marquee programs, and he was also a former head coach at Manhattan. Um, but Jernstead being from a relatively new as well D3 program where it sounds like he's done a good job. The record is 76 and 35 in their last 3 years, and has a couple D3 tournament appearances. So obviously a competent coach with a good mind and former player as well at the D1 level. Um, so yeah, I guess initial reactions, any thoughts you guys have?
I mean, just piggybacking off of what you said about former D1 player, former LSM,
Yeah,
Hmm.
the offensive coordinator. So not not that you can't, Aiden, you and I were talking about it a bit before. It's not like football where it's two completely different sides of the ball, but and especially in the PLL, the nowadays the LSM's really pushing transition a lot, and you've seen guys, Scott Ratliff comes to mind. I feel like as an early guy who was basically could have been like lawn stick attack almost, and so but still just I feel like noteworthy that someone who played pole is the offensive
for sure.
coordinator.
And I did look up while you were talking. I didn't have his 2012 season, but at least in 2010 and 11, he had three career goals. So seems like maybe he didn't follow in that necessarily that Joel White, Scott Ratliff mojo, but clearly has stuck around with the offensive game. I mean, head coach. It's not like you can definitely do like understand both sides of the ball. You have to understand one to be able to coach
That's
the
true.
other. And obviously as the head coach, I would assume, especially at a new D3 school, he does not have a big staff. Um, where I'm sure there's at least one other guy there, but really the lion's share of the coaching and scheming responsibilities comes up to him. But it also sounds like that he and Coach Holman know each other from UNC days. They're both coaching clinics or something down there in a not for the varsity team, I believe.
No,
Yeah,
I think it was just, the like summer camp for youth.
yeah, yeah. So someone that Coach Holman's had a relationship with for a long time. Um, Then we'll see. I Coach Mitchell stepping down was a big surprise. I know we speculated about what that might mean for Colter Maxey's future as a Boston Cannon last week. Um, Not sure if this impacts it or not, but I know
Maybe we'll get more D3 Kings now.
yeah, I mean I think
More
that's
Max
great.
Lanes.
Yeah, it's or more no, I was thinking Eric Martin, but he was even or Connor Martin, he was MCLA.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
Hartzell, Salisbury, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. To call this a conspiracy theory or hot take. Well, no, it's not even a hot take. It's not what I think should happen necessarily. But I think with Aderna being hired, with potentially some friction around the Princeton connection, I think Owen Hiltz might be the next attackman for the Boston Cannons.
That would still be a second round pick, though. I feel like I don't think you're taking Owen Hilt's first round.
I don't know because
So
he's
what are you taking first round?
yeah. Um,
I mean, is Owen Hiltz a first round pick? Like, I can't confess to be Mr. Know-it-all, but every mock that I've seen has had him like second round. So all of a sudden having him fourth overall feels like big surprise.
no, I totally agree. I'm gonna try to pull up his stats here. Not that stats tell the whole story, of course. Um, let's see, we got 211 career points. Um, Decent split of goals and assists. So 29, 24, 38, 27 goals so far this year. Um, Also a Canadian guy, a guy who's probably going to have NLL commitments as well. But I don't know. That's just my speculation based on he's kind of the next. To call him the next best feels a little bit insulting to him at least. But the other top lefty attack prospect.
Yeah. I mean, I just pulled up a little summary sheet here, and both Arestia and Adam Liberty's mocks from March had Owen Hiltz in the third round.
Hmm.
Arestia had him 21st overall to Carolina, and Lamberti has him 17 to Maryland.
Those would both be interesting because you got to think he's playing midfield if he's in Carolina. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, unless Josh Bird wants to play midfield all of a sudden. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like he'll still be there in the second round, probably because that lefty attack spot, the Cannons are really the only team that needs a player there. That's just my thought of it going like basically building off your hypothesis that the Cannons are not going to take Maxey at four. But that also begs the question of who do they take if it's not Owen Hiltz, if he's a second round pick. Um, I don't know. I'll be real confused if they take Ben Ware. Uh,
They love polls. They just hired an LSM as their offensive coordinator.
yeah,
Clearly, Brian Holman has a thing for lawn polls, apparently.
yeah. He was a goalie when he was playing, right? Maybe he's just really affectionate towards those that protected him.
Potentially.
Yeah. Uh,
Potentially.
yeah, that would be because that would put nine polls on the training camp roster, which feels like too many, given that,
I mean, the roster is 30,
yeah,
right, for training camp. So 9 out of 30, and you have 4
well,
out
five
of
dress.
10.
Yeah.
So that's 40%, and they're at about 33%. It feels like a lot.
Yeah, if when it's because it's not like all yeah, like you said, it's not like all five starting positions are up for grabs. Like Keelty, Epple, Young, and Rawl are for sure playing, and then it's between all the rest of them to figure out who that remaining one guy, a second LSM, or maybe Bryce Young goes up or whatever they do. Um, And this, of course, it is all still somewhat speculation because maybe they aren't going to take Ben Ware. Maybe they are going to take, I don't know, like maybe they'll take a midfielder or maybe they're definitely not taking a
Sam
goal.
English
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that for sure. Um,
sticking with the Syracuse theme.
yeah, or like maybe they'll take um, like a righty guy who profiles more as an attackman, but like Pat Kavanaugh can say, hey, you're going to play midfield for a year or two until um, Marcos breaks the all-time goals record and retires. And then shout out to Ovechkin, by the way. And then you'll go down and play attack, and maybe he's more okay with it than Pat Kavanaugh is.
Oh, you mean Chris?
No, I'm saying how Pat Kavanaugh wanted to play X like
Oh,
X starting.
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep. I'm
yeah,
tracking you.
yeah. No,
I'm
I
tracking.
feel I honestly don't know if Chris Kavanaugh is going to go to the Redwoods or not. Um,
He should,
yeah, probably.
especially with 2 and 3. You have to take Cav with one of those.
Yeah. Um, it's just a question of who's going to play X. Oh, and Nick Turn's going to play X. Never mind. Um, yeah. Anyway, we're not a Redwoods podcast.
No, but the draft was finally announced though. May
Yes,
6th, 7 p.m.
May 6, 7
ESPN
p.m.
Plus.
Yep. Watch party or any of that details still to be announced. But we hope to be celebrating. I don't know who specifically we're hoping for. I know we were really pushing hard for Pat Cav last year. That kind of blew up. So maybe we'll just let the draft come to us this year.
Uh, I'm a big proponent of just best player available.
Yeah.
That just give me a stud, which is pretty easy in the first round and honestly in the entire draft, given that it's only 32 guys. But
Hmm. I don't know. The best player available at 4 might be Ben Ware. And
yeah,
then
and then you've got a plethora of polls, and maybe you're able to make a trade for something else then.
yeah, trade one of them back to the Chaos for Chris Islanian. Um,
Maybe.
yeah, I don't know. I think we said we'll probably try to talk to Coach Holman after the draft. That's going to be a very interesting conversation based on all the moves that have happened this offseason.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, all right. Anything more you guys want to touch on about the two new coaching hires? I know Jernstadt, well, actually, yeah, we'll talk about Oderna's performance from this past weekend, but yeah, anything else you guys want to touch about them? It's hard with them being people relatively unknown to us so far.
Best of luck.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
excited.
Yeah,
You
hope
know,
we see
it's
not that well, the playoff game certainly left something to be desired, but the team had some pretty good groups on both ends. So hope to keep that going and next time the Cannons are in the playoffs, put up more than 4 goals.
yeah, definitely. It'll be. I think it's also just not that this really means anything, but it's interesting that obviously Brian Holman is not the youngest coach in the league,
Yeah,
but the two assistants both are definitely on the younger side. So I think that just adds an interesting dynamic to the coaching staff.
yeah. I wonder if we can look up. I mean, if Jernstedt only graduated college in 2012, like he's younger than some of the players. Um, I believe. I think
No, I think Marcus
He's
is
about,
2013. It's
and
yeah.
but it's I mean it's like Kyle Hartzell though.
yeah,
It's essentially the same thing as having Kyle Hartzell there last year, or Brody Merrill at Champ Series. That it's just it's a veteran leader that just so happens to not be in uniform.
for sure. Um, Gittleman graduated 2011, so he's
Okay,
yeah,
but he
he's not
basically
really a
is
player anymore.
coach. He's the third assistant.
Yeah, basically. Um, yeah, I would not necessarily be surprised to see him transition to a coaching role pretty much immediately when he retires, similar to Hartzell.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, all right. So let's go through some Massachusetts college lacrosse from this past weekend. Or not just Massachusetts, because like I said, let's maybe start with Syracuse Notre Dame. Um, so Q's getting the win in the dome at home. Um, and I don't know if the Syracuse defense wanted to prove to the world why John O'Derna got hired as a professional coordinator, but the uh, the Orange defense held Notre Dame scoreless for about 40 minutes in this game. Notre Dame went up 3-0 with about 11 minutes to go in the first, and they did not score again until a minute to go in the third. Which,
Remarkable.
yeah, and we'll scale that down a little bit and say if you can hold a PLO offense scoreless for 36 minutes, you're probably going to win. So, if we can get a couple of those performances, would love to see that, especially given, I think Notre Dame's offense does have a lot of future pros on it, certainly the last couple of years. So, yeah, let's keep that going. If you can shut down, Faison, Chris Kavanaugh, um, Jake Taylor, guys well, Faison, we won't hear his name called because he's going to go to the NFL, but those other two we'll certainly see on a PLL field this summer.
You never know.
Yeah, no,
Well, Faison's also only a sophomore, so
right.
he wouldn't hear his name called until 27. But
Yeah. Yeah, I suspect he will hear it called in a lot of places, not just on the PLO draft board. But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe he just loves the game so much that he'll turn down the millions of dollars.
I mean, it it's not, well, I mean, he's got 2 years to grow, but I don't know if he, I don't, this isn't a college
Yeah.
football podcast, but I don't think it's a guarantee that he would be an NFL draft prospect because
Well,
he's
no,
not the biggest guy.
no, but I just feel like if he's starting as a freshman in the national championship game,
So, yeah, we'll see.
yeah. Anyway,
Neither here nor
um,
there.
yeah. All right, let's get back to Massachusetts.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I can kick it off.
yeah,
UMass lost. That
yeah,
stinks. Did not watch any of the game, but they lost a high point. So, had a real good win against St. Joe's last week
yeah,
in Philly to put them back into the top 20. And it was their home opener for conference play against High Point and started off the game, it seems well. And then High Point went on a run from the second to third quarter. It was 6-0 and 8-1. And so the final was 14-9. So that
yeah,
kind of stinks, especially because High Point is, 500
yeah.
club. Curse you, Asher Nolting. Um, so that's probably going to cause UMass to drop out of the top 20, which is unfortunate. But good news is there's a couple other Massachusetts schools in the top 20 that won. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, let's touch on the other one that lost. Unfortunately, BU looking like they're maybe not quite in that upper echelon of teams yet. I know they've been ranked for a lot of this year, but similar to the High Point game, it was like a 5-0 run for Duke in the first and second quarter that they kind of just couldn't catch up from. I think it was tied 2-2, and then Duke made it 7-2, and they just traded goals from that point. So Duke wins 12-7. And then, I mean, I assume you were all were in Massachusetts this weekend. Absolutely miserable day. Um, would have been cool to see the game in person, but glad I was not out in that rain.
yeah. Now, April showers are definitely here.
Yeah, that was the theme of the weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Casey, do you want to touch on your beloved Great Danes at all?
Um, let's see. So I haven't watched any lacrosse this weekend. Sorry to say. Um, but yeah, they did beat Binghamton,
Yeah.
um, which in the town that I grew up in is the halfway point between Binghamton and Albany. So I grew up watching sports from both of those towns. But yeah, so that's kind of fun for me. But they did win against Binghamton 11-9, it looks like. Um,
Good conference
so now
win.
they're 4-8. Um, but yeah, I didn't get
What
to
a
see any of the game,
fall.
unfortunately.
What a fall from grace for Albany. Those mid 2010 teams with the Thompsons were so electric. The Gosh, what's their coach's name? Scott
Mar.
Mar.
Marr. Yes, thank you. Like that program was such like a great dark horse kind of Final Four candidate for so many years, and now the just
Yeah.
what happened to them?
I guess there aren't enough Lyle Thompsons growing up in upstate New York.
I guess not. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lyle Thompson doesn't just grow on trees, even though it kind of felt like it with the whole family.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
Um,
him and his brothers and cousins, they all have a few kids
yep.
each. So in maybe like 5, 7 years, we'll see a resurgence of the Thompsons.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
That
And
would
two,
be.
like the Kavanaughs, if in like 20 years at Notre Dame, there's another group of Kavanaughs that are dominating
Oh,
college lacrosse.
What a time that would be.
Yeah. Because you got to think there's like five or six of them. If they all have at least one or two kids, like those kids are gonna have to play lacrosse.
Especially if the ages line up and we get, a Final Four national championship matchup of second generation Kavanaugh Notre Dame versus second generation Albany Thompson.
Yeah.
The
Amazing.
craftiness of Albany and the absolute grittiness of Notre Dame, that would be electric.
Yeah. All right, let's count. That'll be what? We'll just book that for 2045.
Yeah.
Hope we're
Something like
accelerating.
that.
And yeah, we'll talk about that on episode like 1,000 of this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
All right, let's touch on the Massachusetts teams that did win today. Um Dartmouth proving that they should not be ranked, getting absolutely shellacked by Harvard. 18-7. I think I forget the exact number, but I believe Harvard started this on an 11-0 run. And it's hard to lose a game when you score the first 11 goals.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
Harvard's just so good this year.
Yeah. That freshman goalie, I cannot wait to see how he develops over the next couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was insane in the game that we went to against Yale. Um, I think it's credit to the whole team for only, for winning by that much. But yeah, just been insane. And I mean, obviously Sam King, generational player. Their whole attack line too, with Spidell. Um, cannot remember the third person's name. One moment, please. But
I know he's not, I know he's a midfielder, but Teddy Malone is
oh yeah,
so good too. I think he's a junior, right? Yeah.
mhm.
So watch out for him in 2027. Oh, wait, no, he's an
He's
attackman.
yeah.
I thought he was
yeah.
a midfielder.
Uh, no, you're right. Yeah. Um, Spidell, King, and Malone, which is also a great trio of names. Just the sound of those together.
Spidell, King Malone. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty baller.
yeah. So props to the Crimson. Certainly that Ivy League tournament's going to be fun. You figure it's for sure Cornell, Princeton, and Harvard, and then that fourth team is a little up in the air. I know. Let me just filter by the Ivy here because I believe
Dartmouth, Brown, Yale.
yes, Cornell beat Brown, but only 13-9, so that's a decent showing from them. Um, Yale beat Penn to keep their hopes alive, although that you know certainly doesn't seem like
It
they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. We'll say after the year they're having.
it's gonna be a battle for that fourth spot for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, for I mean, yeah, but the Ivy League is it's a conference on the up for sure. We'll see how these teams look after their some of their elite goal scorers leave with Maxey, Kirsten, and King. But
Yeah.
I think they've been doing a great job recruiting. Um,
Which is it's also pretty refreshing just in this day and age of the college sports and the football and basketball and the transfer portal and all the chaos, but I feel like the Ivies are just still so true to their roots that to see schools like that have national prominence is pretty awesome.
yeah, more than just as the wicked smart schools.
Yes.
Um, what else we got? Oh, Holy Cross lost, but I mean, what else is new?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, other huge
UMass
stories though.
Lowell also lost on Friday, 14-4 to UMBC. Again, what else is new?
Yep. Our good friend Zach Goodrich though, his Bryant Bulldogs beat NJIT. Um, so
Hey,
yep. So they're still in the hunt in their conference for sure. Um, but let's I mean, a couple other huge games that did not take place in New England though. Rutgers upsetting Maryland.
Hmm.
big one.
Yeah, I'm sure Colin Kirst and Ethan Rawl were going crazy in the group chat after that one. Um, yeah, I kind of
Letting
just
Bubba hear it.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Bubba was not having a good night last night. Um, yeah, that like that's one where you don't even bother like watching because you just figure it's going to be so lopsided. And no offense to Rutgers, but like they've just not had the greatest year, and Maryland has arguably looked like the best team in the country. And I didn't watch it, so I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but I final score 8-6 with the eighth goal basically being an empty netter um, to seal it in the 10-man ride. Yeah, huge win for Rutgers, and definitely throws. I mean, I guess it still just keeps Cornell at the top because they won, but that 2 through 5 is it's up in the air. You think Hughes is going to be up there? Army's going to be up there.
Ohio State beat Hopkins, so they're still going to be up there.
Yep, I think Ohio State's probably two, right? Like
I think
ranked
they
number
gotta
two.
be
Yeah,
with Maryland. Yeah, with the Maryland loss.
yeah, huge.
That's the Big Ten, man.
Yeah,
They are something.
yeah, and Michigan's I won't call it the run is over, but they lost to Penn State. So the Big Ten conference is it's getting turned up a little bit. Things not going maybe how we thought they'd go at the start of the year. Don't know we expected Ohio State to be this good, or Maryland to be this good, or Rutgers to be that
Is
bad.
is the Big Ten trying to become the best conference in college lacrosse?
Yeah, I think they might be.
I know Syracuse is having a resurgence, but Duke is kind of had a down year for their standards.
Yeah,
Not a bad year, but I mean they were what 15 this week, I think. That's a team that you expect to always be in the top 10. Notre Dame is, you know, definitely not playing like the teams that they played like that they were 2 years ago, the last 2 years, I mean.
yeah, and
Virginia is
awful. Which I mean, we'll talk about. They got
doo-doo.
doubled up 18-9 by UNC.
Yeah. Like a what?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
their days of getting ranked this year, if they weren't already over, they might not be getting any more votes even.
yeah. Well, so let's I think both conferences have 6 teams. So if
Um,
we
ACC has five.
ACC has 5 only.
Notre Dame, UNC, Syracuse, Duke, Virginia.
Okay. So Virginia stinks.
Yep.
UNC, Notre Dame, Duke, and Syracuse are all good but not great.
Yep.
Big Ten, Rutgers are all right. They did just beat Maryland, but
Yep.
they seem all right. Maryland for most of the year has looked like the best team in the nation, and they're still probably even with the loss, probably going to be a top 5 team still, I'd
Yeah.
imagine.
Probably.
And then Michigan losing to Penn State, they were 13, so they'll drop. I don't know if they'll drop out. Penn State is a top 10 team.
Yep.
Ohio State's probably number 2, and then Johns Hopkins is they'll drop too, but it'll be interesting to see how the bracket shakes out
Yeah.
in May, who has more teams in the
Yeah.
tournament.
That is interesting because I feel like no one from the ACC gets an AQ. Um, so they all have to get at large bids, which is really interesting. I feel like
Right.
still Syracuse, but I don't know, to give Syracuse, Notre Dame, and Duke AQs when there's no conference winner feels like a lot. And then
Yeah.
on the same token, like I feel like if Maryland doesn't win the Big Ten, they should still get an AQ. If Ohio State doesn't win, they should probably still get an AQ. Um, but Hopkins or Penn State, I I don't think they have done enough. So they're like they have to win the tournament.
At this point, yeah. Or you asked me a few weeks ago, I'd say Penn State was looking like they would get an AQ, but they've fallen off a little bit. But still,
Yeah, and the win today was huge for them,
yeah, yeah,
especially
it kept their season alive.
yeah after the run Michigan was on too.
Yeah,
I think Michigan was 2-0, Penn State was 0-2 in conference. So like yeah, Penn State needed that.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's exciting. It's getting that playoff time of year. Um, Red Sox just started up. Uh, I'm told it's going to get warmer out.
Masters is next week.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time
March
of year.
Madness is wrapping up. Yeah, it's
Yeah, congrats to the Huskies.
that's right. And Florida, please. I need you tomorrow for my bracket. I'm not going to win my group, but I could come in like second or third if Florida wins, so that would still give me a payday. So please win tomorrow night, Florida.
Yeah. Casey, did you have any brackets going? No.
No, not this
We'll,
year.
we'll get some brackets. We'll get some May Madness brackets going.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't we did not do enough of that. Like we had a few people do it, but didn't publish it wide enough. As soon as that comes out, we're definitely doing a battery bracket challenge with some I don't know, something that we'll give away to the winner.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of goodies to give away.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotta looking at all the signed cards next to me. Um
Yeah. I got a whole drawer
yeah.
of Cannon's memorabilia that was both acquired and gifted for the pure purpose of giveaways. So we will definitely be able to give some of those away. And honestly, maybe we'll drop some giveaways on Instagram too, because we definitely got some stuff that we can give you guys.
Yeah. And I'm moving at the end of May and I don't want to bring stuff with me that I don't have to.
So let's give it to the fans.
Absolutely. Not that trading cards take up a huge amount of space, but still, everything counts.
Ugh.
All right.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other games we want to touch on. Um, yeah, we'll just keep going for another week. Maybe let's just take a look at the games coming up next weekend. See who the big matchups there. Syracuse Cornell, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
UNC Duke. Uh,
Ooh, rivalry. Let's go.
yeah. Penn Harvard, like Harvard should win that.
Yep.
BU Lafayette, BU should win that, but it's the Patriot League. Anything can happen.
Army
UMass.
Navy.
Oh, Army Navy. Okay, yeah. Drop everything. I
Yep.
won't say actually no. Army should win that for sure.
But still a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. UMass St. Bonaventure, Jack, any thoughts on that at all?
I have no thoughts on St. Bonnie's, but hopefully UMass can get back in the win column.
Yeah.
That's
Alma
all
mater
I'll
of
say.
Brett Dobson. So they got, I don't know if it's the goaltending pedigree or if he's just really good.
Yeah.
And then we got Maryland, Ohio State, Hopkins.
That's the game of the week, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And Hopkins, Penn State, Virginia, Notre Dame. That game would have been good last year. It was good last year.
It
Uh,
was.
yeah. All right. So I don't. Yeah. So that's all happening this coming Saturday. Most of which, of course, we'll recap for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So hopefully we're on with I don't know
I also
some.
actually, it's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
a bummer that I wasn't able to watch any games live this weekend because for once they actually spread the games out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a chunk of noons, but we had ones, we had twos, we had four, we had five. Like
And we had games on Sunday.
kudos and a Sunday. That like good job
Yeah.
scheduling committee. I mean, and let's just quickly double check those games that we shouted out already. Most of them are noons. UMass St. Bonnie's is a noon. Army Navy's at 12:30 though. Penn State Hop at 1, Ohio State Maryland at 2,
Okay.
Cornell Syracuse and Duke UNC are both at 4, and then Notre Dame, Virginia 5, and then we got Rutgers, Michigan on Sunday. So we got it's overlap, but it's staggered at
Yeah.
least. So you can like at least continuously watch you transition from one game into another game concurrently. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, and especially if you're double screening, like myself, often does, I could some prime viewing opportunities, and the matchups just keep getting more important and more entertaining as we
Yeah.
hit conference play and we get later in April. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for shouting that out, Jack. I don't know if it's like the games are so recently televised that like athletic directors of schools are like, all right, I know we always do Saturday at noon, but like someone has to do Saturday at 2 o'clock or Saturday at 1 o'clock. Like hopefully, or like I don't think ESPN's telling the schools yet that they have to do that. Um,
Yeah, I mean it's there's not a lot of money in college lacrosse.
no.
So rather than scheduling stuff out for the viewership broadcast window, they're just going for the routine of it for the players and the staff and the fans that you know that your team is going to play Saturday at noon, and it makes it easier for players and coach and travel to that you're used to, your pregame meals or rituals or whatever, that it's the same week after week.
Yeah,
But
but
if we can
we'll
get a
hope we
little
get
bit
to
more money involved.
yeah, we'll hope we get to that someday where it's more than just like the Final Four that's on linear ESPN,
Yeah,
and there's money in making it a at least an all weekend affair, though not when it overlaps
absolutely.
with March Madness because that will be very difficult to dethrone.
No, but March Madness is done now, so you got a month plus playoffs. I mean, they do spread the playoff games
Yeah,
around, but be kind of nice to have, especially now that it's April, have those games spread out as well.
for sure. Yeah. All right. I guess that just about wraps it up. So welcome again to John O'Derna and Alec Dernstadt. Hope to talk to you guys soon and welcome you to Boston to the Boom Squad. Look forward to seeing the work they do out in the field and who they want to draft too, because that is still very much up in the air. Um, Maxie Hiltz or Ben Ware or someone else that we haven't even thought about yet. Um, Yeah. All right. We'll be back next week to I don't know, talk about what other long pole Brian Holman signed and whatever other college lacrosse shenanigans happen in the next 7 days. But until then, go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.